it's very important to me just because I want to be a guy who can stay on the floor for those last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and be able to stretch the floor and step out and shoot and space the floor like that. It'll open up the floor for a lot of my teammates.
That is Mo Bamba, member of the Orlando Magic. He was drafted 6th overall last night in the NBA draft. I'm Newy Scruggs. This is NBC Sports Radio. We appreciate you listening here. Remember, we're always online at NBCSportsRadio.com, and you can catch us on Sirius XM on Channel 205. John Hammond is the general manager of the Orlando Magic, and he joins us right now. John, how are you?
Great, Newy. Appreciate the chance to be on with you.
I thought you guys just got as lucky and as happy as you could be to see Mo Bamba fall there at 6. Now, I know, the good front offices go through different scenarios. How many times when you ran scenarios did you have Mo Bamba falling to you at 6?
We had scenarios where it could happen, but I don't think realistically we believed it. So until it actually happened.
Yeah, so Trae Young goes to Atlanta at 5 in the Dallas-Atlanta swap, and then Mo Bamba is right there. What did you like best about taking this young man?
Well, I think obviously he has very unique physical traits, especially with his length, and I think his ability to move for a person at that size. I think he has a very unique personality, very well-spoken, articulate young man, and I think he's has a really good self-awareness about himself. And then, we're hoping that all that translates into a very unique player and a special player. And we think he has that chance that to be, you're hoping, and when you draft it at this level, that you're hoping for an all-star. And we believe he has that kind of potential.
John Hammond is the general manager of the Orlando Magic. He joins us right now on NBC Sports Radio. When I think about the great players and great teams in Magic history, you look at centers. Shaquille O'Neal took the Magic to a finals. He had a great personality. Dwight Howard, also drafted number 1 overall like a Shaquille O'Neal, had a big personality, helped take the Magic to the finals. Can Mo Bamba be that next line of great Orlando centers?
Well, I'm sitting here in our practice center right now. I'm looking out my window, and there's 2 Eastern Conference Finals banners, and you're right. Both of those were brought here by 2 great centers, and you don't want to put that kind of pressure on someone walking in the door saying this is your job to get this done. But man, you hope so. You hope that could happen. We're excited about some of the other young players in our roster, and to add a player like this that we can move forward with, particularly on the defensive end, what he can do there. But I don't think we'd ever underestimate what he can be offensively. I think he could be a special player on both ends of the floor.
You've got Steve Clifford now there as your new head coach. Steve Clifford has worked with big men. He was there in Orlando with Dwight Howard. And you're talking about a defense, being a defensive team. How do you think this fits into how he wants to play?
I think it's great for him. You're right. That's who he is. He's a guy that, in our short time with him, we know that, and you think that you're seeing that as your teams play against him. But he's a very thorough. He's a very organized. He's going to be prepared. His teams are going to be prepared, and I think he's going to do a great job with a player like Mo and helping him reach his potential. And so I think it's a very good fit.
You've got a lot of guys on the front line now here with Mo Bamba there. Nikolai Vucevic, you got Bismack Biyombo, Aaron Gordon, Jonathan Isaac, Mo Spates. How do you see this working out with so many bigs and trying to get time for everyone?
Well, Mo Spates is not under contract right now. He's a free agent. So there's -1, but we do have a lot of players for the front line. But at the end of the day, you don't look at something like that last night. It's not even consideration. When you're sitting there with the 6th pick in the draft, you're going to say we're going to take the best player on the board. It doesn't matter where we're at position wise. And boy, when it came to a player like Mo Bamba, it was even easier for us. Best player on the board, we're taking that guy.
So, and look, I think you did the right thing. You take Mo Bamba, they're the best player in the draft. So many people had a point guard being mocked to you guys in the draft. So what do you do going forward to try and address that position?
Well, look, we're a team that obviously, we're not where we want to be right now. That, sitting there with the 6th pick in the draft, it tells you where we're at last season and what kind of year we just came off of. And, the Magic have been in a position struggling for the last few years. So we're not going to plug every hole in the dike right now. We do it one by one, And, you have opportunities. There's multiple ways in which you can address your roster. You can do it through the draft, obviously. You can do it through free agency, and you can do it through trade. So you never know what opportunity can present itself. But you're right. That was if you go into last night's draft and you look at our team and you say need point guard, but also once again you come back and say at that level, very seldom do you ever draft on need. You go best player on the board, and that's what we did last night. And it's our job to figure out the rest of it.
Obviously, you had a plan of what you wanted to do and accomplish last night before the draft, and then now that it's over, how do you feel about what you thought you could do and then what you were able to get done?
We feel very good about it. To walk away with a player like this, you look at the NBA game today, and the game has changed. There's no doubt whatsoever that it's changed. The people spraying the floor and shooting the threes and the isolations and what people are doing. The real changes on the offensive end. On the defensive end, there's still a factor there that if you can have a premier goaltender, if you have a guy like that can do that, it carries your defense. Give an example like Gobert, obviously, in Utah and what he's able to do for that team just on the defensive end of the floor. So, we feel great about that and would never take anything else away from Mo saying that, hey, it's all about defense for him. It's not. We believe he has a potential, very unique offensive skill set as well, his ability to shoot the ball. I think it's going to be a great asset for him moving forward, that he can play inside and outside, the ability to offensive rebound, run the floor. So we feel very good about that.
Magic GM John Hammond, our guest right here on the Newy Scruggs Show. How much do you think your experience as an former assistant coach in the NBA helps you as a GM today?
Well, I think it just helps from an overall basketball perspective. I think you said I've sat in there for 11 years in those meetings with coaches, so you kind of know how they think and what they're saying. And I think there's a part where I think a front office person, as a front office person, I think coaches appreciate someone that's been there, done that. I didn't play in the league, so I don't have that ability to relate to players in that regard. But I can relate to coaches and how they do their job and how they're trying to do their job and try to support them and be there for them. And so that's always been a good fit for me. And I appreciated my opportunity to coach at the levels I have, and then to do this in the front office has been a great experience.
John, I appreciate you coming on here today and talking about the Orlando Magic, and thought you guys had a very good draft with Mo Bamba, and the other second-round picks is going to be able to help the team. Thank you much, and let's do it again.
Thanks. I'll look forward to it. Appreciate it.
All right, that's John Hammond, Magic GM. I like what he said. Look, we're a long way away from being where we want to be. So for people who are frustrated that they don't have a point guard, look, you just got to give them time. They've got some assets here, and we'll see what they do in terms of trying to figure out the whole point guard position. But I don't know anybody in their right mind, except some people on Twitter, who would think that they should have taken Colin Sexton instead of Mo Bamba when you're sitting here at 6. You couldn't do it. You just could not do that. No way. No how. Bismack Biyombo's contract, you're not moving it. Okay, you're just not moving it. As far as Vucevic there and Mo Bamba, who says you can't have two good players? Jonathan Isaac's going to be the interesting player. Last year, injured, former first-round pick. How does he improve? Magic are way away, but I thought last night they took some proper steps in trying to get better. And also they took Melvin Frazier out of Tulane, a small forward who can defend with a 7'2" wingspan. I think he did a good job.